I'm live. Hello, good morning. 1, 2, gonna lead with the left hand today. Eighth notes, single strokes. Little bit still asleep this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right, 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 left, right. Good morning, Jake. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Good morning, other people joining. Left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Oh, I've got a builder going past on the scaffolding outside. Confusing. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and more people. Welcome. I mean, the real world people, not these builders going past on the scaffolding outside. Left, right, left, right. Good morning, builder. Left, right, left, right. He's on the phone. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Good morning, person whose name I can't read. I think you're someone I don't know. Hello. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. At some point, I'm going to set up a second screen so I can actually read the comments going on, the chat going on here. Left, right, more people. Welcome. Left, right, left, right. Left hand lead singles today. Left, right, left, right. I don't care if you're a right-hander. You need to practice leading with the left as well. Bass drum on the 1 and 3. Hi-hat clicking on the 2 and 4. If you're just on pad, no stress. Tap your feet or just do the hands. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Any left-handers out there? This is your moment for a right-hand lead. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I hope you're all feeling fine this morning. Feeling good about some drumming. It's Friday. The weekend's coming up. Maybe this means you're going to take a break from drums. Maybe this means you've got more time for drums. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Nice relaxed position. Leaning back just slightly. Bum on the back of your stool, towards the back of your stool. So you've got a good stable foundation. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Nice relaxed arms. Not quite so sunny today. My lighting here is not so good. I must sort out some lighting at some point. Right, left, 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 right. Perhaps the sun is going to creep out a little more as the day progresses. Left, right, left, right. The weekend is supposed to be beautiful. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. Nice full extension, full strokes, coming up to 90 degrees, pointing between strokes to the gods of drums. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Really thinking, how does that stick or brush feel in your left hand, your weaker hand? Feeling good? Is your position weird? Do you do anything weird, different with the left hand? Left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 80 BPM, single stroke rolls, eighth notes, left hand lead. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you are on the kit today, you got the feet going as well. Of course, you get some good cross coordination. The left hand having to work a little bit more with the right foot here. Right, left, right, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, left, right, 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 left, right. Checking, always checking that the arms are relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, wrists are relaxed, whole body is relaxed as much as possible. Don't fall off your seat. Left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Quite excited today. Friday. I'm going to speak about one of my favorite drummers in the world later. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Started creating a playlist last night of all the drummers I've been talking about so that you guys can check out some of my favorite tracks by these guys. I will be putting this Spotify playlist into the description later on today for all of the lessons. So if you come back and check out the description a couple of hours time, I will have hopefully managed to add that in there. Left, right, left, right, left, right. But I've got a lot to do as well. Got to do some teaching today. Jake, lesson with you shortly, straight after this lesson. And Jenny, I wonder if Jenny's watching today. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Also got an IKEA delivery yesterday, and I've got to build a wardrobe. Built one cupboard for our Hoover and mop. God, getting so much done in this lockdown, isolation times. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I'm not going to move us to the 16th today because I want us to really concentrate on our left-hand technique. That the grip is the same. We hold the stick the same in the left hand as the right hand. The volume is the same. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That you're feeling good about your weaker hand and can start to get a little bit more strength from it, a little bit more consistency. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So now I'm going to move to doubles, still at our 8th note rate. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Oh, I've got better at that counting in thing. Left, left, right, right. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Really tricky doing all this talking while you're playing and leading with the left hand, especially when you're still half asleep as I am this morning. Left, left, right, left, left, right, right. Also, my cat was sick this morning, so I've been cleaning up cat sick. Very exciting day. Right, left, left, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and still checking our posture, making sure we're relaxed, that both hands are feeling good, that the sticks are coming back to that 90-degree position between strokes. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. How's your timing? How's my timing? Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. We've got to constantly check ourselves when we're practicing. If your mind is wandering, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, you're probably sneaking some bad habits in there. We do not want bad habits. My mum learnt to drive in Canada, and when she moved back to the UK, she is English, she had to redo her driving test as a Canadian license. Wasn't valid then in the UK. Don't know if it is now. And she'd been driving for so long in Canada, she'd picked up loads of lazy bad habits. And she actually then failed her UK driving test the first time. And in Canada, she had to do things like snow driving. So it wasn't that she was a bad driver, but it just goes to show how much we pick up bad habits, and probably how much many drivers could do with a refresher course now and again. I can't drive. I'm 37. I can't drive. I've been lucky in my music career to always be on a tour bus or in a van with our tour manager driving, one of my bandmates driving when I was younger. So got away with it. And now with all these cheap taxi apps, no need. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I cycle everywhere when not with my drums, which is much better for the environment. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right. How are those left-hand doubles feeling? Left, left, right, right, left, left. How's your grip in your left hand? Are you holding the stick the same as the right hand? Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's my impression of the Roland metronome voice. She's great. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Not many impressions I can do. I think that one's pretty good, right? Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Leaning back a bit, checking your posture. Nice and relaxed, breathing through. I'm starting to wake up a little bit. Hopefully some of you guys are as well. And not feeling too isolated in these strange times. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Finding plenty to do. Keep yourself occupied. Practicing lots. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Perhaps writing music, programming, writing songs, picking up a second instrument, guitar, keyboard. Anything you might have lying around. Now's the time to do it. Learn a second language. Sprichst du Deutsch? I'm here, of course, in Hamburg. Been learning German for 2 years now. It comes and goes. I'm okay, but all the Germans speak such good English. Left, left, right, right, and they all want to practice their English with me. So it's quite tricky to get the practice in, but I manage. How's your neck? Nice and relaxed neck. Relaxing down through the shoulders, through the arms, making sure no tension is creeping in. As we get further into our practice, the longer, of course, you play for, the more you're likely to start holding your breath, holding tension in places. We don't want that. Think of yourself as a sports person. You've got to really take care of your muscles, your joints, your diet. All these things, very important for musicians. I had a lovely sausage sandwich this morning, talking of diet. My girlfriend made some really nice home-baked bread last night. Things you get done when you're in isolation. I'm going to do 1 more minute of these doubles. And 4, and right, left, right, right, left, 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 left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. So yeah, nice sausage sandwich, fresh baked bread. Took me a while to find a sausage similar to the British sausage that we would have for a breakfast in England. Found one now. I love all the German sausages as well, the Wurst, etc. Sometimes, you know, you want a full English. Left, left, right, right, left, right, right, unless you're a vegetarian, in which fair play. I messed around with veganism last year, actually. And then I went to the Dominican Republic and completely failed to keep it up. But with the state of the world right now, I think it's possibly something we should be thinking about. Let's move now to our paradiddles, still with the left hand leading. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, paradiddle, paradiddle, paradiddle. If you're wondering why I'm saying that about veganism, it's because this COVID thing came from bats, right? Into livestock, into the human system, immune system, to our bodies. I'm not a scientist, but that's roughly what happened. Perhaps if we were a little bit more conscientious about our food choices. I say this to myself as well as to anyone else who cares. we could switch things up a little bit. Now is a good time for switching things up, just like we're switching it up with our left-hand lead. Out of great crisis often comes great change. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. My old band is called Post-War Years. The idea being that the years after a war, while there is a lot of devastation, etc., they are also a time of rebuilding, rebirth, regrowth. So I'm interested to see what will happen in the aftermath of the current crisis. Left, right, left, left. Friday, politics day. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. Politics and drums. Right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. I think it's important we're interested in politics. Something I've seen with a lot of my younger students, actually. They seem a lot more switched on than my generation were. Really, really cool to see some of them grow up from age 7 to suddenly being age 17, saying they want to be a humanitarian lawyer, or all sorts of things I never imagined to hear from these kids when they were just crazy little 7-year-olds who wanted to go nuts on the drums. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. Still checking our grip, making sure the stick is nice and loose in the hands or the brushes. Checking that we're nice and relaxed in the shoulders. Leaning back a bit to check myself as well. This is an ongoing process. You do this for the rest of your lives. My father's a piano teacher, 66, phenomenal pianist, phenomenal teacher. He's going to be doing some YouTube stuff soon, hopefully, actually. He still gets up every morning, warms up, practices his scales, does these basic exercises that we have to do. They never go away from our playing. You're never going to not need left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, singles and doubles in your playing, and combinations of those singles and doubles, such as the paradiddle. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right. I'm starting to warm up a little bit now. Hopefully you guys are too. Bodies and brains. When we're thinking about this posture stuff, leaning back a little bit, we want to be a little tense in the, not the stomach, what's it called? The belly. So it's not that we're tense exactly, holding tension. Hello, new person. Left, right, left, left, left hand lead, paradiddles. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. But we take a little bit more weight in the belly area, in the six pack, if you will. Right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. Abdomen, that's the real word for it. If we're leaning forward, not only do we get in the way of ourselves, we're going to cause ourselves back problems later in life. Left, right, left, left, right, left. We don't want that. Left, right, left, left. We don't want any problems or pain. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, 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 right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. Nice, relaxed grip, relaxed wrists. Relaxed brain. Left, 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 right, left, right, 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 left, left, right, left, right, right. I made myself a checklist today, or yesterday actually, so that I can make sure I don't have any more problems with my audio or my setup in general when I'm starting these things, I got this idea from a producer called Mike Monday, who also makes wonderful YouTube videos about how to finish music and how to have a good workflow. Left, right, left, right, left, right, right. He's a super cool guy, super interesting guy. Loads of cool tips. And one of his tips was to have checklists for everything you're doing. Making a new song, checklist to make sure you've set up everything, saving it to the right place, got everything plugged in correctly, etc. So that when you sit down and start making the music, then you don't left, right, suddenly find yourself running into problems that you weren't expecting. Perhaps it's just a cable that is unplugged that you haven't noticed. Something like this. If you've got a checklist, you can just go through, check all these things before you start going, and you're much less likely to end up frustrated and wasting time. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. Okay, let's come to the end of this. Right, right, bam. I need to take my jumper off because it's getting a little hot in here. I am so hot in here, covered in cat fur, as always. These little guys, really, really fluffy. 2 guys that we adopted last week. But enough about them. Still haven't made a feature in the video. Oh, no, they did. They popped their head in the other day. So secondary beat rolls. Left, left, right, right. Quarter note speed now. Nice and slow. And we're just going to work, still leading with the left hand. Left, left, right, right. Really snapping that second stroke down. So perhaps you want to incorporate a little bit of the fingers there. A little finger snap, drop, grab, double. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Said it before. I'll probably say it every day. Best way to get super fast, super even, rolling doubles. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Very excited to talk about the drummer that I'm going to talk about today. Don't want to say his name yet. So excited. Right, right, left, left, right, right. This guy really has been a huge influence on my playing. Really, really cool dude. Super, super professional. Works incredibly hard. Worked on a ton of albums. Right, right, left, left. Let's move this up to 8th note speed. Left, left, right, left, right, right. Don't know why. Taking the feet out. Took my jumper off and I've stopped playing the feet. Chick, boom, chick, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. Checking your positioning again. Are you relaxed? Are you sitting comfortably? It's probably a better way of putting it, isn't it? Just make sure you're sitting comfortably. Unless you've tricked yourself into thinking, oh, this is comfortable. No, don't do that. Left, left, right, right, left, right, right, quiet, quiet, loud, 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 quiet, loud. The lovely thing about this, for me, is it's all about honesty. Left, right, right, left, right, right. You see a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm not saying they're dishonest. But you see someone do a drum cover. Left, right, left. How many takes have they had? How many takes have they edited together to make them seem like they're perfect, etc., etc.? So it's all about the mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. We've got to make mistakes to get better. Left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. If we're not making mistakes, we're not practicing properly because we're not pushing ourselves. Even the great, great drummers are still there learning new things and making mistakes. Even Vinnie Colaiuta, I imagine. Left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. When you decide to become a musician, you're kind of going on the search for the Holy Grail because you think, I want to be good. What is good? How much knowledge is enough knowledge? How much ability is enough ability? Left, right, right, left, right, right. For me, it just gets bigger and bigger. The moment I think, if I learn that, I'll be there, I'll be sorted, I'll have it. The moment I release an album, I'll be sorted, I've done it, I've made it, whatever it is. You do those things. Do you still want to play drums after that? Of course you do. Do you still want to learn more? Of course you do. Right, left, right, right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the younger you are when you dedicate yourself to this, the more you realize that and put that work in, the further you're going to go, the closer to that mythical Holy Grail you're going to become. A great quote from a guy, I'm afraid I don't know his name, one of the greatest classical cellists in the world. He was in his 80s, and someone asked him in an interview, Mr. whatever his name is, you're one of the greatest cellists in the world. Why do you continue to practice every day? He said, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it now. Super cool. Love that story. Can you ever know music? Or is it just a thing that lets you in the door occasionally? Music, the great unknowable. It's a bit like magic. Except music definitely exists. I'm not here to debate whether magic exists. I have a very good magician friend. He will make many of you believe that it does. Left, left, right, right, left, right, right. One more minute of these. Left, right, right, left. Hopefully starting to feel really nice. Limber, loose, warmed up. That blood flowing around the body. Brain creating new networks, new neural networks. As you work on this left hand side, do a little bit more work than perhaps you usually would on the left hand side. There's a ton of great neuroscience about all the wonderful things we're doing for our brain while we play instruments that involve coordinating both sides of our body, drums, piano, etc. So there we go. It also can help stop Alzheimer's. Musicians very unlikely to get Alzheimer's. So keep on practicing for the rest of your lives. Very, very excited today. As I've said already, I want to talk, I'm probably going to get too excited now, about one of my favorite drummers in the world. Brother Question, aka Questlove, aka Amir Thompson. Wonderful, wonderful drummer from The Roots. The Roots are a live hip-hop band who started, I think, in the 90s, early 90s. I certainly discovered them in the early 90s, around 96, I guess I discovered them, but they've probably been around since 93 or so, I think. Didn't check that. And a little music shop in my hometown called Fop used to sell these albums for £5. And I was in Fop with my good friend Luan, aka Browsini, a rap singer. He's a wonderful rapper, musician, producer. I call him the hip hop dictionary. If he doesn't know, if there's something he doesn't know about hip hop, it's not worth knowing. So I said to him, man, I want to get more into like some hip hop stuff. You know, I grew up with some like NWA and Snoop Dogg and Dre and stuff like this from my older brother. I want to know more. I want to dive deeper into this and get some drumming going on with it and, you know, learn about this style. And he said to me, oh man, you should check out this band, The Roots. They've got a live drummer. I was like, what? So I grabbed this album, Do You Want More, which is, I think it's their first album. And yeah, it is. And it's a completely live album, double bass on their keys, guitar, trumpet, saxophones, whatever else they call in. Not all full-time members of the band, I think. And Brother Question just drives it with his drumming. Really, really cool. Later albums aren't all live drumming, but he produces the drums when it's not live drums. He plays it all live when they're then performing. Super, super, super great dude. Distortion to Static. Yes, that is a great track. Exactly. And there are a few tracks on this playlist that I've created, this Spotify playlist that I was talking about earlier, including, I almost put that on there actually, Jake. But no, I didn't, because there's too many good tracks by him. And I wanted to look at some of the other stuff that he's done as well. So he was learning drums, and he was wanting to recreate the drum machine sound. You know, he'd grown up in the 80s with all this programmed hip hop stuff and all these 80s beats. And he wanted to really play super metronomic, super tight, play this crazy, crazy tight electronic hip hop sound. And then he came across at a concert a guy called, a young producer called Jay Dilla, who you must check out. Dilla is amazing. He's kind of the godfather of that broken shuffle, kind of weird, lazy feel that you hear on some things. And he was just like, what the hell? I've been trying to play in time all this time, and this guy's just ripping up the rule book and with his MPC making these beats that is just totally something other. And so he then went back and but he says, taught himself to play drums from scratch again. And from that, he then did the Roots. He then played with Erykah Badu as well, on an album called Mama's Gun. I really, really, really want you all to go and check out the track Booty from, it's not about a little shoe, by the way, on Mama's Gun. It's just got the sickest groove. It's got these lovely little double stroke roll building at the start, and then he kind of lets that fade out. And then he just plays this wicked mad breaks, these lovely long pauses in there, and it just goes on. The band then join in, and they're all following this thing with these big rests that we don't play so often. We don't play this space so often, leave this space. So this is super cool because the drumming is just insane. He's improvising, well, you know, he's varying the idea constantly throughout the piece, never seems to play the same thing twice, and feeling these lovely, lovely pauses, rests, which are equally as important as the things we're playing. We have to remember about the space, the silences. So important. So Mama's Gun, Booty, go and check that track out. That is just sick. He also then played with D'Angelo on a wonderful album called Voodoo, and a lot of it's programmed on there, but there's two tracks. Chicken Grease has got a lovely little groove where he uses, I think he uses on both of these, this technique. I don't know if you've ever seen this, where you can kind of play a little rim click and knock it down with the other stick. So you almost get like a little flam, you get like a hand clap sound. And it's just like, oh, it's so funky. You're probably going to lose your mind when you listen to it. I think I did anyway. So nice. So D'Angelo's Voodoo track, Spanish Joint, super sick. And then another track from the Roots, but featuring Erykah Badu, just to bring it back around a little bit, You Got Me. This is a later album and it's programmed drums on there. But it's a lovely groove, like a one-handed 16 style kind of feel, you know, halftime feel. And a really nice one to play along to. And then at the end, it goes into this super cool drum and bass breakdown. And it's just, when that came out, I hadn't heard any hip hop track kind of incorporating drum and bass into what they were doing. And it's just mind-blowing, super nice. And because of course it's a drummer who's programmed these beats, they're so much cooler than any other drum and bass groove I've heard. And I grew up, my brother being a DJ 9 years older than me, he was playing a ton of jungle and drum and bass. I love these grooves, so that was super exciting for me to hear that then coming into this hip-hop world that I then also kind of really got into. So really worth checking that out as well. They are all going to be on that playlist. The Roots are now the house band on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. You might know them because they do a ton of these funny little YouTube videos where they do covers of songs using like kids' instruments, which is really, really cool, really funny. So you can check some of that stuff out as well. The crazy thing about Amir Thompson, Brother Question, Questlove, is he doesn't really sleep. So he'll go, so he says, and spend the day in the studio working on stuff with The Roots and Jimmy Fallon currently. Spend the whole day working out the next bit for the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. And then in the evening, when that's all finished, he then goes to his studio, produces with an artist, works on whatever he's working on, and then goes and gets like 3 hours sleep or something. And then he's back in the next day for the Jimmy Fallon show again. Just crazy, crazy dude, crazy work ethic, dedication. I mean, really, he's created a whole kind of world for himself there. You know, he's worked on more stuff than I know that I could list, that I could, you know, I couldn't even probably go through it in a lifetime because I personally need more than 3 hours sleep. But go and check out Brother Question after this session. Really, really cool dude. Super nice, amazing afro. He's got a lovely talk, a couple of lovely interviews. There's a lovely Red Bull interview that he does, a couple of others that you can find on YouTube. There's not so much of him playing. He is on the Beatles. There's like a thing about, is Ringo Starr really a rubbish drummer? No, he's not. Spoiler alert. Sorry, spoiler alert, came a little bit late. And he's talking about how Ringo inspired him as well, and playing some Ringo beats along with a ton of other drummers, Phil Collins, I forget who else, Steve White I think's on there, loads of great drummers. So you can find some little snips of him playing, but because he's so much about the production, I guess there's not so much of him about on YouTube playing drums. Really, really weird. Well, not good quality stuff anyway. Maybe some fan videos from their phones in the audience, but I don't want to watch that. I don't want to hear that distorted audio. And I hope you don't as well. Maybe you do. I don't know. Some of you guys from a different generation perhaps feel differently about that. So there you are. Brother Question, Questlove, the legend that is Amir Thompson. What a guy. So next up, back to the rudimental ritual. For those of you who are not regulars to this channel, to my lessons in real life or online, the Drummer's Complete Vocabulary as taught by Alan Dawson. Really phenomenal drummer. I talk a lot about him on my second of these live sessions that I'm doing. Really, really worth getting a copy of this book. I'll be doing more in detail sessions on these lessons once I get back into the studio after the lockdown. I might be able to get in there next week. The situation being slightly different in Germany here than it is in England. It's not a full lockdown here. So perhaps you'll see me from the studio next week. This day's lesson. Really strange doing a lesson on this every day. More stroke rolls. Yesterday we did 5, 7s and 9s. Today we've got 10, 11, 13 and 15. A ton to pack in. I've got to do this in about 22 minutes. Let us see if we can do it. First up, 10 stroke roll is a little 3 rudiment if you want to practice this on its own to a click. You can, of course, play these along with, fit them into 16ths and then they're going to fit in different ways. But for now, we're going to play it in 3. And it's a non-alternating rudiment. The first of our stroke rolls that has 2 accents, as opposed to just one single accent at the end. So here we are. We're going to play it first from the right hand. I'm going to play it nice and slow. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, left. That is the guy. Really, really nice little dude. From the left hand, it would be the same thing. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. Thinking about how you're positioning your sticks, I, of course, wasn't as I started there. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. Bringing up after the final double of each hand to play that accent so that you've got them really nice. So you've got those accents super, super clean. So let's put our metronome on. 3/4 now, 80 BPM. 1, 2, 3. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. As you go with these, you will start to incorporate your secondary beat roll or your drop grab doubles rather. whether you're playing them right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, whether you're playing them as drop grabs or with more of a molar motion, doesn't matter, as long as they're nice, even, smooth doubles. I was saying yesterday, I think I mix up that a little bit of molar and fingers for that drop grab. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. A lot to get your tongue around. Right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. But really worth saying the stickings out loud so that you're really fixing what they are in your head as well as in your hands. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. Checking our posture still. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. I sometimes say the Batman tune. It's not quite right. Batman. Whatever you need to do to make your practice session more fun. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left. Let's move now to the left hand lead. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. Don't worry if you didn't catch that. Just change when you're ready. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. A bit more sunshine outside now. A little bit grey in the sky though. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. Batman, Batman. Sometimes I amuse even myself. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. You'll notice with these three rhythms, I'm not playing a foot pattern. You could do. I don't want to confuse those of you who are new to these rudiments. With that. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. And in the rudimental ritual, the piece that we will learn at the end of all this, Batman, we will put it over a samba. And we'll change it from that 3/4 feel. Well, in fact, we'll play two times the 10-stroke roll, and then a little 6-stroke roll at the end to make the maths work out. Drums is maths. A lot of maths, a lot of logic. You've got to have a good brain for drums. A lot of people play very naturally, of course, as well. But my approach has always been a thinking, logical, puzzling it out kind of one. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. I'm going to leave the metronome on now because the next rudiment we have, the 11-stroke roll, is kind of the same deal. It's non-alternating. We practice first the right hand, then the left hand. We just need to double the penultimate note. The second to last note becomes, instead of 2 accents, we've got all the way doubles until a single accent at the end. I'm going to have a sip of my live in Hamburg coffee, always sponsored by the Beatles here. Not that they need any sponsorship or endorsement. Cold coffee, love it. Cold filtered. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Here now, you see we've added another double in there, and then just one single at the end. If you're not getting this, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. If you've never played this before, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Or even if you have, you can watch this back and slow it down. YouTube will allow you to do that in the settings. Very useful little tool when you want to work out what drummers are doing. Oh, losing my voice. Friday feeling. Been shouting at the camera all week. Doesn't even make sense. You should shout at the microphone or sing. Da 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 da. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Da 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 da. I'm always talking about the value of playing or thinking of a little melody. Just swapping sides. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Da 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 bum ba da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum. If you're singing over the top, you are of course practicing an extra level of coordination. If you've got a decent voice or even a half decent voice, you can sing backing vocals with your band. Don't need to be a great singer to sing backing vocals, as long as you've got a range somewhere. Perhaps up in the top registers, up high, perhaps baritone down at the bottom. But practicing with melody makes the whole thing much more musical than tap 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 bam tap 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 bam tap 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 bam. We got to think about the music, making sure we're still nice and relaxed. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. You guys have got some really good work on your left hand today. Well done. Well done for sticking through it as well. Takes a lot of dedication to play drums. Just rudiments, just technique for an hour. Really impressive, especially those of you who have been coming back each day, or even multiple days. Really good. Perhaps you want to have a little dance. Make it fun. Enjoy music. Should be obvious, right? Some people look so miserable when they're playing. What's that all about? Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Ah, the joys. Years and years of practicing these things, given me plenty of coping techniques. Hopefully you're getting some of these passed on to you as well. Damn. So let's move on now to our next rudiment. We've done the 10, we've done the 11. Now the 13-stroke roll. So we're back into 4/4. And we've got a quarter note at the end. We got to feel that pause. When we utilize this, we can lose that. Make that an 8th note, lose that gap, lose that pause. Or if we're playing these as 30 seconds, we can even make that end bit a 16th. So we've got right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, pause. Bam. And we are swapping sides now. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, and left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, and right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Let's get that metronome back on. 80 BPM, always 80 BPM. Really, really good starting tempo. But if things are more difficult, 70 or even 60 is a good tempo to go to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. I can't do it now. Where's it gone? 2. I'm still in 3 mode. 1, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. There we go. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. See, it's important to make mistakes. Bum. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. If you play with a metronome at home, though, when you're practicing, you can't trick yourself that you're playing it right. As soon as you realize you're out with the metronome, you know you've got something going wrong that you've got to sort out. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Ta 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 cha. Za ta 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 cha. Za ta 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 cha. Ta 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 pa. Pa 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 pum. Pa 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 pum. Di di da da di di da da di di ka ka din ka ka di di ka ka di di ka ka di di pum. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. So there we have the 13 stroke. Drum roll. We've got one more coming up, but I can't quite stop myself yet. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Okay, this next time round. Dum. Dum. Boom. Big rock ending there for you guys. 15 stroke roll, our final one of the day. Beautiful. We've got a non-alternating rudiment again. It's basically a full bar of doubles with a single at the end. Super, super cool. We could, of course, start with the accent. I explained that in yesterday's lesson if you want to know about switching it around, starting with the accent. So first of all, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. 3, 4, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, 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 right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. How are your doubles here? Are they nice and even? Da 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 bam. Da 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 da. When you're playing with brushes, really nice to mess around with the textures you can get with more of a whip or pushing in a bit more. I love that. So now left hand. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Of course, if you're not playing with brushes, you can still experiment with your volumes and making sure your doubles are still nice and even, whatever volume you're playing at. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Right, right, left, left, right, left, left, and the louder you go for your doubles, the louder you got to make your accent, of course. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right. I haven't mentioned this today, but really good to have a mirror to your left or right, as I do in my studio on the right, here on the left, so that you can check your technique. Are you doing what you see these great drummers or me on YouTube doing, or on your DVDs, or when you see a concert? Remembering to relax. Been playing drums now with a little pause to talk about Questlove for 55 minutes. Your body is getting tired. You got to be kind to it. The better your positioning. Bring those feet back in. If you're in a good posture, it's actually less tiring for your body. Being not sitting straight will tire your body out more. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to play for as long as possible to build our fitness, our endurance, our speed and stamina, all the things that you presumably are here to learn. I'm trying not to lose my voice before the end of this lesson, seeing as I've got to give a few more today and a few more tomorrow to my lovely one-to-one guys. If you want one-to-one lessons, there is a link to contact me in the description, and all those normal things: liking, subscribing, passing it to your friends, telling your grandmother about it, getting a carrier pigeon, tying a little note around their leg, sending them off to some unknown land to spread the word there. Whatever you want to do. Just got a few minutes left, so let's think about how we might use some of these. So come back to the 10-stroke roll. Put that 2 times. Classic trick. 2 times 3 will take you up to 6. Or in fact, because I'm thinking 16ths here, it's going to take us up to 12. And then it's going to just need 4 more 16ths at the end. Little 6-stroke roll at the end. More fun, of course, if you've got the toms around you. You can start to throw those accents around, even put the doubles onto the toms and the last few 16ths. Put anything you like at the end. Little flammy things in there. What was that? That was a reverse windmill? No, windmill. Single windmill. Use this maybe in a little groove. Did that yesterday, in fact, while I was meaning to do the 9-stroke, which is very similar, but just with a single accent at the end. But as I said yesterday, once you've put them into context, does the name matter? No, the music matters. Stop thinking technically, start playing music. Because you're just going to confuse yourself if you're on stage trying to think, oh, okay, 10-stroke roll, 6, 5, 3, 9, 74, 800. You're not going to get anywhere. Paradiddle, flamadiddle, flamacue, triplet, flamadiddle. That's not music. The music comes from sounds that we hear, the language that we hear from our instrument, and that we're hearing from, of course, other people playing these instruments when we're doing all of our listening that we should be doing, and checking out what our favorite drummers are doing and what our favorite bands have going on in the drums, in the bass, and the guitar, how it locks together, what the keys are doing, and to sympathize or to kind of complement what the rest of the guys are doing. How everything is locking together. You've got to get involved, got to get your brain involved in that. There's a ton of ideas you could come up with for fills. etc., using all of these rudiments. My favorites are probably the ones from yesterday, from lesson 6. The 5s, 7s, and 9s fit into a lot of cool stuff very, very easily, work really well. It can be that some of these longer rolls are very busy for a lot of music, but they still have their moments, definitely, and shouldn't be forgotten about just because you think, oh yeah, the other ones are cooler. So that's it. I've been Fred. Number One Drummer is my channel. I'm not the number one drummer, but I'm teaching you the beats for number ones. I was previously, and I will do again in the future. Really, really glad that a load of you came online again today. Thank you for the continued support. And I look forward to seeing you again next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 o'clock UK, 11 o'clock Central European time. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Get loads of practicing done and generally enjoy yourselves. Take care, guys. Goodbye.